Wanted to thank Russ and Dennis for the opportunity to speak with you tonight about what manufacturing is at Clark Manufacturing. I'm not sure if many people know this, but John Parsons and Frank Stewin back in 1948 developed NC Control for CNC machines, and they were challenged with being able to efficiently make helicopter blades for the military. And so it was really the start of a new second industrial revolution, as they call it at this event. So Traverse City is the birthplace of NC Control as used worldwide today as we know it. And so in front of Cone Drive operations, they have this historical marker that identifies that as being the birthplace of NC Control. Why I say that is Clark Manufacturing is a CNC machine job shop. We're located here in Traverse City in the Airport Industrial Park. We're celebrating last year we celebrated our 40 years of business. Gary Clark was the founder of the company back in 1975. Started off as a small tool and die shop, just doing some odds and end work for some local manufacturers here in town. And he saw the need for a CNC job shop service for some of these companies. So back in 1975, he started to buy his first CNC machine, and has progressed from there as being a job shop of CNC machining to other manufacturers. So manufacturers will bring us their blueprints, their products, their designs, and ask us to make to their print. We don't engineer or design parts, but there's a service for us, being a manufacturer, to be able to produce those parts for those companies. So we have a great team, roughly about 70 people now working for us. That's the success of our companies, having truly a blessed group of people working for us. We have about 55,000 square feet in our facility right now that was built brand new for us roughly about 8 years ago. This is just an example of what CNC machining is. Not a lot of people have been able to experience this, but we have a CNC machine that's controlling the movement of the tool across the material. And this is an example of a lathe process. We have a CNC mill department, which CNC mill is where a tool comes down onto a part and does all the machining on a part, and the part basically stays stationary. The lathe, where you saw just an example where the material is spinning and the tooling is cutting off the material. This is just some shots of our production facility. We have a CNC lathe department. We have about 18 CNC lathes. We can turn up to 23 inches in diameter. Another shot of our floor manufacturing. The relatively large raw material inventory of many various sizes of materials, different grades of materials, shapes of materials that are available to us from our inventory, or basically on a one-day notice almost at some point. We do have a fairly extensive finished goods inventory that we set up with different customers. If they know they're going to use 200 or 300, 500 pieces in a year, we'll go ahead and give them a cost estimate on being able to produce all those in a year's time and blanket them out in a release over that year's time, so they can spread out. We can spread out our setup costs and drive down the cost to our customers that we supply to that on their products. We have a fairly extensive quality department that ensures quality in our first piece inspections, final inspections, incoming inspections, and such as that. This is just some shots of some examples of different machine parts we've made for different customers over the years. We've got a lot of customers in different industries, as you can imagine. Oil and natural gas compressor manufacturers, hydraulic manifold systems manufacturers, medical industry manufacturers, industrial manufacturers, heavy equipment manufacturers, these are just the different shots. Here's an example of a CNC milling operation on a connecting rod for one of our good customers. This is a 5-axis milling operation where we're able to manipulate a part in many different aspects to be able to get the machining done on this for this particular customer. Another example of a 5-axis milling process. This is a progression of a CNC lathe process as we start off with a piece of raw material and we proceed to machine and carve off the material from that until we end up with our first operation is through that process there. This is another particular customer we do a lot of these piston rods for that go into a large natural gas compressor that's used to pump natural gas out of the ground down pipelines. And there's one of our finished parts on one particular end of the piston rod. So Clark Manufacturing has been in business for 40 years, as I said. One of our successes is, we've been blessed with a really great team of workers that are experienced in CNC machining, and we've got a great customer base also that's diversified enough so we have we can try to stay on pace with the ebbs and flows of the economy, as you can imagine. How that can affect the job shop not having a product line to be able to produce. But, so I'm not sure if anybody might have any questions now or.
Anybody have any questions?
Can we hear the opportunities in CNC shops like yours for the future? Is that you've got an aging workforce and that there's opportunities in the next 10, 15 years? Is that, do you see that in your company?
Yes, that's a big need for the next few years ahead, where we do need to have that younger workforce coming up from behind, and we're a big supporter of TVAISD's Precision Machine Tool Program and NMC's Machine Tool Program, to be able to bring that and present that to students that are in the high school level and show them that there is a good career in CNC machining, that if they put their mind to it, they can learn some of those skills while they're still in high school by going to TVAISD and then continue that with NMC or some other institutions. But we're talking about starting salaries with CNC experienced machinists, $40,000 probably out of the get-go, and as much with some more experience, $70,000 a year. So it's a good career to have experience behind, and it's almost, I liken it to a medical career, because you can take that skill set and go anywhere in this country and be able to find work with that skill set. Yes?
Cameron, how do you see food affecting your business and your industry in the long run?
That's a good question. I think I know a little bit about 3D printing and where it's at today. If the technology continues to be able to improve some of the chemistry behind 3D printing, and I think it will be able to take up some of that CNC machining, but there's still going to be a need for that CNC machining, whether that's 5 or 10 or 15 years away. If they're going to be able to 3D mold metal type parts with the same chemistry, tensils, and yields that are involved in taking a raw piece of metal and machine. And I'm not sure if they're how soon they're going to get to that. And that's probably the same thing that Mike Grollo is thinking about too in their technology.
Go ahead, back there.
Do you turn or mill anything besides metals, any other materials?
We, being a job shop, we see the gambit of what our customers bring to us. It could be from plastics to just mild steels, to alloy steels, to titaniums, to stainlesses, whatever they design into their part. That's our requirement, that we we have to find and quote for their particular product.
So you can turn 23 inches of plastic?
Should be able to.
He's got a project for us. Right. You do work for Harsco and Ludington,
No, I have not heard of that.
do railroad equipment. What's the maximum length you do with your days?
Turning or milling or?
You're turning with the length between the spindle and the chuck.
We've got the capability on our largest lathe to do upwards of 60 inches, 65 inches in length. Now it depends on diameter now, you know, sometimes when you get that long, of course.
Have you heard of Metal Line, Manistee?
I've heard of that one.
I think they're out of business. And that would be some work to take over. They did a lot of work for Harsco turning. It's a railroad company. They build railroad repair equipment
In Ludington.
in Ludington.
Yeah, I have a customer down in Ludington, and I remember hearing of another company in
They
town.
did weldments,
Yeah,
drive shafts, or bearing surfaces for wheels,
okay.
a bunch of other side equipment. There's auxiliary equipment on the side of the rail car.
Yeah.
Campers, stone blowers. Very interesting work. I worked for Metal Line for a while.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Russell, just one brief comment, talking about the relationships between the manufacturing community here. So Clark has built our sensor bodies and a number of our components for about 20 years now at least. And,
I was gonna answer your question, just buy more sensor bodies.
well said, well said.
Sorry.
I was gonna recommend it, but.